Aloha and welcome. I'm Representative Gene Ward. Welcome to Better Government. We try to talk about issues of interest, topics of substance, and today you're going to learn all you ever wanted to know about a new, not a newspaper, a new publication, a new outlet for information in the state of Hawaii. And here to talk to us about that is their editor, John Temple. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
I always remember what Jefferson said, that if I had to choose between government and newspapers, I would choose newspapers. And you guys are the newest one on the block. You're online. You're not in print, right?
That's right. We're only online.
Tell us a little bit about the founding and some people who know a little bit about the founder, Mr. Omidyar, if I can pronounce it correct,
That's
from
correct.
eBay.
Yes.
Give us a bit of a background on that.
Civil Beat was founded by Pierre Omidyar, the founder of eBay, who lives in Hawaii. And this is his home and the community that he cares about, the kind of community it's becoming. And he wants to make sure, he's looked at the community and seen that as journalism has declined here, as we've seen the consolidation of TV stations, the elimination of a newspaper, and before the elimination of one of the newspapers, the shrinking of the staff, so the lack of reporting, it's affecting the quality of democracy, because democracy is built on an informed citizenry, and yet we're seeing a decline in local news reporting. So the question and the challenge of Civil Beat is, how do we provide the information so that people living in Hawaii can learn and understand about the important issues facing the state, and then develop solutions and ideas about how to address them, and do so in a civil manner, because our name is Civil Beat. And
So you mean literally Civil Beat, you're going to be very civilized, you're going to be open, you're going to be objective.
That's
People are not
correct.
gonna use
And
the
we're going
F
to be, like a critical aspect of Civil Beat is the name itself. Civil stands for being civil, the foundation of civilization, mutual respect.
Yes.
Recognizing that it's okay to disagree without being disagreeable, that we don't have to demonize our opponents, that we should talk about ideas and issues, and that should be the focus, and that in the interaction of different points of view will come better thinking, better ideas, and a better informed public. Because as you know, many of the citizens know a great deal or more about issues than journalists, and we want to bring them into the conversation. The vision was create the new civic square where people would participate, and we participate as journalists. And what you'll see, one of the real innovations at civilbeat.com is that the conversation is civil and that people are respecting differences. Although it can get heated and passionate, it doesn't become toxic or racist, homophobic, anti-immigrant, all the ugly things that we've seen on most news sites.
You know, when you mentioned the Civic Square, I'm remembering I had the opportunity to go to Hyde Park Speaker's Corner, where literally you stand on the soapbox and you say whatever you want about whatever, and people, if they like it, they come around. If they don't like it, they don't come around.
Right.
With Civil Beat, however, it's a little bit against the trend for what otherwise people are now probably getting most of their online stuff free.
Yeah.
You guys charge, how much is it actually?
Well, we charge, but it's a range. So we put a lot out that's free. There's a lot, like there is a quote paywall, like there's some content that you can only see if you pay, but there's a great deal of content that you can see for free. For example, all the conversations are free. So when we're talking about issues, all that discussion is free. Some of the journalism is free, but some of it, we believe that there is no advertising on Civil Beat. We're based on
no advertising.
No advertising.
Unheard of.
We're providing, we believe in, we want to provide a service to our readers. We see ourselves as servants of our readers, where the relationship is clear, where we're saying we're going to produce something of value and you pay us for it because you appreciate what we're bringing to the table. And the only way, and of course some stuff is free, some stuff is paid. One of the things that we ask people to pay for is our backgrounders on issues facing the community, because we put a lot of work into providing research on major issues.
Example?
Civil unions would be a good example, where we really go into it and you say, okay, I want to understand the history of what's happened in Hawaii related to civil unions, how it relates to what's happened nationally. Well, you would find that on Civil Beat, but almost all of that would be paid. You would have to pay to see it.
I see.
But the article on the fact that Governor Lingle vetoed civil unions, you know, a good part of that article would be free, as would be the discussion that ensues related to it.
Would the newspaper draw from the public domain, the AP, or what they saw on CNN or Fox or something like that? Or
Civil Beat is based on original reporting. We try to be original reporting that is thoughtful. So we're issue-based, typically, not event. Doesn't mean we don't cover events, but the events we cover are demonstrably related to important issues that we've identified.
Yeah, I've noticed that money, education, and land, or education, land, and money are topically...
There are three major topics, and then of course we have Hawaii and Honolulu. So for example, this morning, we spoke with the superintendent of education, the interim superintendent from Washington, D.C., after she made her pitch for Race to the Top funds. So there's a story on our site today, and that story will be free, available to the public. But we believe student achievement and education accountability are critical issues for the state, so we cover them. So when they went to Washington, D.C., when a delegation went to Washington, D.C., we were there to cover it. But we will do much more. We will analyze their application, look into the quality of the application, whether it's credible, and try to provide the resources for an intelligent discussion of the issues of education reform.
John, before we get too long, I wanted to focus not only on I keep mixing Civic Beat
Civilbeat.com.
Civilization.
We're the root of civilization. Civility.
At least when it learned how to write and to read and to speak and to be literate. I want to focus on your background because I've got some impressive things that you had been the lead man at the Rocky Mountain News to win 4 Pulitzer Prizes.
Yeah.
What's behind that? You're a hero. Pulitzer Prize means you've done some extraordinary things. What did you do?
Thank you. Well, I was very lucky to be the leader of a major newspaper in Colorado for a number of years, and I felt like we had a staff that was passionately committed to excellence, and we rose to the occasion on a number of stories, major stories. One was our coverage of the Columbine tragedy. Another was the worst summer of forest fires in Hawaii, in Colorado. The worst summer.
You've transitioned well.
I have. The worst summer of forest fires. And another was the impact of the war on terror, the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, on the people at home, on the families of the soldiers and the Marines who lose their lives in service of the country. And we did a lot of coverage of the war at home and had an extraordinary photographer and reporter who told a story called Final Salute, which really took you inside what happens after the death of a Marine and how the internal the internal workings and the dimension of both the suffering that is caused by a loss in war and also by the brotherhood of the Marines and the way they take care of the families of the fallen. So I've done a lot of work like that. We won an Emmy recently, believe it or not, at the Rocky Mountain News. I just won an Emmy for a documentary we produced there. So we were a very aggressive, active news organization, and a part of my life that I'm very proud of.